we're going to look at Chariot Race, which is a new Matt Leacock game about racing chariots. Are you excited? Let's go.
Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge.
Chariot Race is another racing game on the market. The market is full of these, but if you like yours with chariots and horses drawing these chariots, then this is another game to add to your list. Now, there are a few of these out on the market throughout the history of board gaming, and this is yet another one, but this one chooses to take a very, very common mechanism, throw it in the game, and you race around the board. This brings you a blah experience. It is okay. It's not the greatest thing. It's one of those things where you roll the dice, and if you don't like it, you can re-roll the dice. And if you don't like that, you can pay to re-roll the dice. It's like Yahtzee with payment. And that's what you're going to get here. Based on what you roll the dice, you can move your chariot around the board and do things. There's some play interaction with combat where you can try and knock people through. And it really has that Ben-Hur vibe. And it does a good job at that. I think it accomplishes that. I think it does a good job at that. The part that I didn't have, it was just blah. There were other racing games that I'd rather play. A lot, to be honest. But this is a lighter game, a lighter chariot game. You do have some of the combat that's included in it. People are going to like that. If you don't like combat in your games, then so be it. I actually like the automobiles a little bit better than this. Oh, that's a back building game, and this is just a rolling the dice type of game. And it's hard because at its core, it's a racing game. How do you want your racing games to be? Most racing games, if not all, are first one to the end wins, or some combination of that. And then you have, how do we get that to happen? Is it drawing from a bag like automobiles? Is it rolling dice like you have in here? Is it playing cards like in Lewis and Clark? How are you going to accomplish racing? In racing, sometimes they have a NASCAR theme, sometimes they have a chariot theme, or other things. It's a very common mechanism in games. Be the first one to get there, right? That's the race. It may be to victory points. It may be to a location like Lewis and Clark. It may be to a finish line like in Chariot Race. So there's a lot of competition here. And Chariot Race was just okay. The components are okay. The mechanisms are all right. Way too familiar for my taste. I've seen this a lot, and I just don't know that it had that wow factor that I'm looking for. It does chariot racing well, though. So it's not a simulation. It's just a fun dice rolling game, and accomplishes that. But I like to see this designer spread his wings a little bit more, do more of what he is known for, of designing new mechanisms that are fun, rather going back to the wheelhouse. And this feels more like a cash-in. Like somebody said, I want one of your games. He's like, well, here's one off the shelf. Here you go. It's already done. But I don't want something about blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's a chariot racing game too. And it just feels that way. And it didn't accomplish what I was hoping for. It's okay. If you see it, you play it, you're going to have a good time. You'll put it on your shelf, and I believe that you'll forget about it. And that's not good enough to stay around here. So for me, it's definitely going to be a Purge. Here's Chariot Race. You can see the box is very, very exciting. The box art is going to be way more exciting than what you're going to see inside. You're going to get a rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. You're going to get a puzzle board. And what's particularly interesting is it's double-sided. So you have the advanced side on one side, or you can do half advanced, half basic, and you can swap it up a little bit. You're going to have a number of these chariots that you'll put together, just cardboard. They're okay. These dice I like, they're wooden dice. There's one set included, because everybody will roll dice individually. You're going to have gray cubes, which are very, very generic, and a bunch of trackers in here. Then you have these player boards. They're not cardboard, they're okay, but they're double-sided for the advanced sides. Everybody can have different powers. They're okay. Everything in the box is generic. I don't think these tokens or anything, these favorite tokens or anything to write home about. I just don't think the components are that great. The dice are nice. Double-sided board is okay, but very generic looking and not great. Here's the rules for Chariot Race. You can see a picture of the components on the front. Then we're going to get a 2-page spread of setup, very much appreciated. And then fonts will be very small here, guys. There are pictures and examples, but just know the font is small. It'll kind of take you through exactly how you play. End of game here. And look at what all the symbols do. Very nice little cheat sheet. Why it's on page 7 and not an easy reference is beyond me. Then at the back you have the variants that they're going to have during the game. I'm going to take a look at these variants at the end of the flow of the game. So these are going to be double-sided. One side is going to be unique. The other side is going to be... So this is the unique side, the advanced. As you can tell, they're just a little bit different. So they have different tracks on them, and it makes everybody a little bit unique. So I'm just going to look at the basic side. That's what the variant on the other side would be. You're going to have your damage over here, how much speed you can have, how many dice you'll roll right here, and how much fate that you have. So if you have 6 damage, let's say, then your speed cannot be above 6, so you couldn't have a higher speed. And if your speed was at 6, you would roll 4 die. If you had 5 speed, you would roll 5 die, etc. So that's kind of how that's going to work, as you can see there on the tracker. And you'll keep track of your fate up here at the top. So what you're going to do on a turn, very simply, the first thing you do is you can repair. If you want to spend 3 of your fate, you can repair 3 damage to your chariot. It will keep you alive. Then you're going to roll these dice and use them. So you roll the die 1, you can roll as many as you want again. And then if you want to roll anything again, you can start spending your favor. You can spend, so if you want to spend your fate track up here, you can spend 2 of these, and I could do another reroll of many dice as I want, or I could take 1 die and just set it to whatever side I want in lieu of rerolling. Then what you do is, this will give you fate, so you do the icons that are on your dice, just like Yahtzee. So the little person will give me extra fate. Then you will have the plus minus. This will be to my speed, and then I can move. This one will allow me to switch lanes as I'm going through. This one, I'll take plus 2 to speed, but I'm going to take a damage to do so. And this one will be attack. I can either attack somebody 2 spaces in front of me and do damage to them, or I can drop one of these cubes behind me, and that will allow me to put that out. If somebody were to hit it, then they're going to take damage. Otherwise, you're going to go around the board twice. First person to do 2 laps is the winner. Another little rules about this cornering here. So if I'm going through here, my speed can't be above 3. Let's say I was going 6 speed around a 3 bend, I would take 3 damage. If I was doing a 9 around this 5 bend, I would take 4 damage. So you take your speed minus the curve, and that's how much damage you have. Otherwise, you can be eliminated from the game by taking too much damage, and it's a race to get to the end. Now, the flip side of this is going to be an interesting side. You're going to have these monuments. If you hit these, you automatically die. So you're going to have to swerve around these as you're going. I think you're going to do that side. I'd probably do 1 of each, or you could do with the both advanced side on that board, whichever one you like the most. Who should buy this game? You're going to want a light game. I think this is a budget title, so if you see this on sale, $5, $10, $15, $20, maybe you'll plop down for it. You really like chariot racing, you like direct interaction in the combat. I mean, you're going to be able to attack other people. It does have some player elimination in it, so it may be an issue for you, but it's a pretty short